All right, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to another Showdown breakdown. Where my turds at? We got the Jets at the Colts. A turd sandwich with turd sprinkles all over the place coming up for you guys. Let's do this thing. Here we go. 45-point total. Colts favored by 10 at home, taking on a newly reborn New York Jets squad. The rebirth of the Jets under competent quarterback play. Nay, it was not Zach Wilson who rebirthed the team, but rather Mike White. Much like Tom Brady, emerging from the 6th round of the draft, a borderline undrafted, the next GOAT. And you want to hear something funny, Bobbywow?
Yes.
Mike White in 2011 tweeted at Brady, "Someday they'll call me the GOAT."
Whoa. Okay.
There's a lot of connection here between Mike White, and they play a very similar style of football. Both of them, both Mike White and Tom Brady. Actually, Mike White's career passer rating higher than Tom Brady's. Wait, I dropped the mic.
This is what happens when Jets fans get a win. Everything just goes haywire.
The sun was shining. The sky was a little bluer. Food tasted a little better. Yes. A little better. I had a Big Mac this week over at McDonald's. Tasted different than usual. A little better.
Yeah.
A little better. Crispy, crunchy chicken. A little crispier. A little crunchier.
Whew.
This way, everything seems right in the world. I opened the newspaper. Peace in the Middle East. It's been achieved. Didn't know.
God
hadn't
bless
heard.
Mike White.
Hadn't heard. Didn't know. Mike White. There's a lot of fucking A, Luke. You know what I'm talking about. There's a lot of similarities between Mike White and Tom Brady. No dominoes, Pete. Come on, man. No. None of that. None of that. Everything tastes better after a Jets win. So now we've got. So what do you do with that situation, right? Now, competent quarterback play, huh? What? Should we throw away all the stats from the year? I don't know. Gonna have to get this figured out, Bobbywow. But luckily, we've got the GOAT, essentially the Tom Brady of DFS, in the house. I said it, Bobbywow. Don't be embarrassed. Don't be shy. It's real.
I don't deserve that, but
it's
thank
true.
you.
It's true. Accept it. Accept it. It's real. Okay, we're going down to the bottom of the screen here so we can make the screen a little larger. Gonna get a little Control Plus going so you guys can see it. And here we go. Let's break this game down, Bobbywow. Let's start on the Colts side. So you got a sheet for us today. Carson Wentz, of course, hate the face. Hate the face. Carson Wentz. Looking pretty good, though, lately. He's played well.
Yeah.
So give me a little breakdown of this Colts offense. Last week, 15 targets from Mikey Pitter. Insanity. You know, Taylor, 80% of the rushes set. I like that. I like that workload for Jonathan Taylor. Is this Jonathan Taylor day?
I like Taylor a lot. You know, I think ever since the Colts committed to him, which was like 5 weeks ago at this point, he has been an absolute beast. And I wrote up some of that in my notes. He's had a touchdown in each of the last 5 games and has had at least 100 total scrimmage yards in each of the last 5 games. So he is absolutely a top play on the slate tonight. I love him.
Yeah, I would say he is the top play on the slate. And we're going to have some high ownership, of course, on Jonathan Taylor to be aware of. Now, Nyheim Hines, no snaps last week, baby. Marlon Mack, sorry. Marlon Mack, no snaps last week. Have they? So do we think that the whole Marlon Mack getting snaps was just like showing him off for a potential trade and then they changed their mind?
That's what it seemed like, right? He started getting some work a couple weeks ago. And then, last week the thought was maybe they're shutting him down because they're planning to trade him away. But for whatever reason, they held on to him. So we really don't know what their plans are with Marlon Mack, other than he's kind of stuck on that team.
I think there's a little blowout Marlon Mack garbage time risk in this game, as much as we love Mike White. But I think there is a little bit of blowout risk here where Mack gets a little bit of carry at the end. Nyheim Hines, how do you feel about Nyheim Hines? He only got 5% of the carries last week, but we don't care about that. We only care about passing game work with him. And he's been averaging about 10% of the passing game work, which for a typical Carson hate to face Wentz game, you're talking like 3 to 4 targets.
Yeah, I mean, ever since Taylor became the main guy, we've really seen Hines's work decrease quite a bit. And I personally don't think he's cheap enough yet to warrant him. I did see a rumor that they could use him a little bit more as a pass catcher now that T.Y. Hilton and Campbell are out. But I'm not really buying it all that much. I think, that they're leaning on Taylor for the run game. They're incorporating Taylor a lot more in the passing game as well. And so I don't know. I don't really see an argument to play him, other than maybe his ownership will be, 15% around that range if you want to try and get leverage. But he's just not cheap enough for me yet.
A little spendy at the 5K range on DraftKings. And he had a couple of good games earlier this season that definitely would have been the nuts on a showdown. But that was weeks 1 and 3, and we really haven't seen much of that. I am curious to try to understand how, we've seen for the most part that T.Y. Hilton's been hurt all year, but how things kind of fall with T.Y. Hilton out once again for the Colts. It's going to be interesting to see how that goes down. So speaking of wide receiver position, Mikey Pitter.
Beast.
Yeah, it's borderline bizarre. This is a guy who never had target volume. Like, the volume just has not been there. And then all of a sudden, the spike to 15 targets last week.
Yeah, he has been promising ever since they drafted him.
Absolutely.
And I know we've been very high on him since they drafted him as well. And he's finally getting a chance to be the number one in the offense. I think T.Y. took away from that last year. He somehow had a really good year, T.Y. Hilton last year. And he was a little bit in the background. He showed some flashes, but this year, finally, he gets to show that on a daily basis. And we saw that especially come out last week.
Yeah, we definitely did. We saw a lot of goodness. I liked Pittman coming out of college. He was one of our rookie wide receivers that we liked. He was going last season in rookie dynasty drafts, right, pretty high up in the second round. So he's a guy that, like right after T. Higgins, it was a debate between T. Higgins and Mikey Pitters. And in the end of the day, winners, and lots of them. Here you go. Wentz and Pittman have the Bible study together. The Bible study narrative, that's a Adam Levitan thing that I've seen floating around. I'm not sure that I put a whole lot of juice into that one, but it probably is a real thing that does happen. It does seem like something Carson Wentz would do.
Yep.
All right, so the other wide receivers. Zach Pascal. Zach Pascal's always good for a touchdown when you don't expect one.
Absolutely. That's what I wrote in the notes. It's like every time we see one of these showdowns, he somehow happens to quietly produce enough to be in the nuts. So
shit. This Brian, are you in our brains? Get out of my mind. I would not fade them on Fanduel, but Bobby and I were just talking about the fade both quarterbacks on DraftKings approach as something that might be viable. Although it rarely wins, very rarely. You almost always need one.
Yeah.
But all right, so Zach Pascal, not that cheap, but you know what? We'll deal with him. He is definitely a touchdown scorer on occasion. Doesn't do a whole lot of yak. Not a yak man, but
he's a wide receiver too. Yeah.
Yeah. Now Ashton Dolan. So do we think that Dolan is going to be the guy that gets those T. Higgins, T.Y. Hilton touches? And if so, do we care because he's been getting some of that and not doing a whole lot with it? Let's see.
So here's one of the pivot points. He's min price on DK. So this is a really, really, really important spot tonight as you begin to build. And I think cashing will happen or not happen because of what you do with Doolin. He is min priced as the wide receiver 3 and is going to be owned quite a bit because of it. But in the same role last week, 4 targets, no catches. And in a similar role the week before, because TY got hurt early, 4 targets, 2 catches, and really did nothing with them. So this is going to be a really interesting point, right? You can roster him for min price, and a lot of people will do that, but he hasn't exactly shown that he can smash in that spot. So very interesting.
Yeah, it's definitely, it's tempting. I love a bargain guy who's going to get a lot of snaps for 200. I think you got to play some of this for that one time. He's on the field. It's like DeMarcus Robinson. We talked about this the other night. We talked about DeMarcus Robinson and of course we pitched Kyle Rudolph as the top play. That worked out really well. But DeMarcus Robinson, we'd said 2 out of like 8 games, he does enough to smash the salary level. And I don't care who you are or how bad you are. I don't care. I don't care who you are or how bad you are. If you're going to get 4 targets for 200, you've got to be in your mix a little bit. But don't expect much here, I think, is what you're telling us.
One thing to note too, and we gotta pay attention to this as the inactives come out. Some people are saying that Kiki Kuti could be activated again, and if that's the case, I'll have even less interest in Doolin. So we'll see. Wasn't active last week, was the week before. We'll see what the Colts decide to do there, but that's a big piece of news too.
Is Kiki one of those guys that's on the practice squad and being elevated back and forth?
Yep.
Oh, that's the hardest detail to find out. So hopefully we'll get that information enough in advance of the game to figure this one out. If you choose to play Doolin in the captain, you do so at your own risk, sir. Don't at me afterwards when you lose. Okay. Tight end, Mo Alley Cox, man. Okay. Guy's been scoring tutties as well.
It's fun. I mean, the problem with the tight ends, especially the Colts tight ends, they're priced up too much. Both of them.
I don't like the price on Mo Alley.
Doyle caught a touchdown last week, and people are gonna probably see that and be a little excited. But even if these guys catch a touchdown at that price, they're gonna have to do more than that to find the optimal. So I'm not a huge fan of the Colts tight ends simply because they're just priced higher than they've ever produced yet this season. Aside from the Mo Alley 2 touchdown game.
The question is a Mo Alley, 9 or 10 pointer enough for 5,200? Because that's what Mo Alley kind of does. He gets you 8 to 9. Is that enough at 5,200?
I tend to think it won't be, just because you've got the Colts defense down there. You've got about 15 different Jets wide receiver options, and you've got Doolin lurking at min price. So it's possible, but it's a spot that I'm not going out of my way to roster those 2 guys.
A little bit of love for Jets tight ends in this one in the chat here. So and Kylan Granson gets a couple snaps each week. That could be the turd that goes off. Tommy Tremble did it once. It could be 5%. 5%. Yeah. What do you do with the turd? 5% exposure, guys. 5%. All right, let's talk about Jets. Let me tell you, Mike White is so random. He's not even on the matchup sheet. Even our AI system that puts these sheets together, we have artificial intelligence doing all of this. Watson, IBM Watson figures this stuff out. Even Watson doesn't believe that Mike White is actually playing in the NFL right now. Watson's like, what? No, this guy was 6th round draft pick, dropped from 2 teams. There's no way. This is Tom Brady, the new GOAT. So last week, DFS Up North, the other GOAT, told us all, play Michael Carter in DFS. I will admit that I laughed at him. I ridiculed him.
I wrote that in the notes too. We both laughed.
Oh my God. See, your notes are like coming over. I won't even go to the note. We'll look at the notes in a minute, but I ridiculed him. And then Michael Carter went on to be in the nuts lineup, win someone $1 million. Didn't win me $1 million. But there it is. Oh my God, Zach's watching. My AI guy is out there. I love it. That was for you, Zach. That was for you. Oh my God, that was awesome. Okay, so Michael Carter last week. Now you said something crazy. You said you're okay with playing both Michael Carter and T.Y. Johnson here. I mean, Michael Carter, is he the best play on the Jets this week?
I think he's the safest. And clearly you can see not only did he get the bulk share of the carries, but he was really, really involved in the passing game as well. And we talk about this every showdown. When there's a backup quarterback, they love to lean on tight ends. And we saw a tight end catch a touchdown for the Jets last week, and they love to dump the ball off to running backs. And, those two things are safety valves for these guys. And clearly that played out again last week. And I think we see it again tonight.
I could see it. I will say that the Colts are really, I mean, from a betting angle, and I talked this over with Gargano and Stats already today, and there is a little bit of like, maybe the Jets are a little overhyped, feeling a little too good after that win, the swagger, they're swinging it all over the place like we good now, right? But the reality is they're still the Jets and they still suck. So,
yeah.
I mean, they look good under Mike White, but maybe they have another Mike White miracle. Maybe.
I don't see them winning the game, but I do see Carter and Johnson as producers for sure, either way.
And much more Carter. So look at the numbers here. Johnson wound up having a great score, but it was a little bit of luck involved with that. But I mean, there was just so much running back volume in that game last week that it just there was enough to go around. But I mean, Carter was definitely 70% to 28. That is workhorse versus backup guy numbers. And the rushing numbers, really workhorse backup guy. And I think it's just a coinky dink that Ty Johnson got a bunch of receptions. He's not usually the guy they're throwing to. So I guess they have thrown to him a bit on the season. So yeah, you know what? I can't argue it. I think you can probably play them both, I guess. I wouldn't be excited about Ty Johnson, but Michael Carter is an exciting play.
Yeah, agreed.
All right, so at the wide receiver position for the Jets, again, new quarterback, new offense, everything much better now. Everything looks better under Mike White. Everything's better under Mike White. For me, Jamison Crowder is the top wide receiver for the Jets. He's the guy. He's the best of this group. I think it's bizarre that Keelan Cole got 65% of the snaps last week. I really don't know what to make of it. And Denzel Mims, it's just weird. I would have thought it would have been Elijah Moore. It's really weird what the Jets are doing with so many turds. I don't know what to do here, Bobbywow.
There's so many turds, and they ran out 6 different wide receivers last week, and every single week it feels like they're doing something different with these guys. And so, yeah, I think you're gonna have to make some intentional fades of a couple of them, just so you can get enough exposure of others to make it worth it in your builds, especially if you're doing MME. So there's a lot of options, and I totally agree. Jamison Crowder is far and away the safest wide receiver play on the Jets, and I don't think it's that close.
I mean, look at the spread. And I want to answer Jonathan's question. No, it will not save from your phone to your PC. But the flip side, I would say, is, dude, I set up my Showdown runs pretty quick. Like, it's not that many settings. There's a couple of rules. Don't get too crazy rule making, as you know. You will definitely have to set it up all over again, unfortunately, though. As far as, yeah, I mean, look at these. Look at all these targets. It's like 18, 10, 12, 6, 4. Everybody's involved. Don't like that very much. Don't like it. Too many people involved. Too many people. But I think you said something sage when you said, I'm kind of liking Denzel Mims. Denzel Mims, very, very low, very, very low priced. Denzel Mims, the most snaps out of anybody. Now, Bobbywow, do you think they did that because he's a good pass blocker and he's the physically largest of all of their wide receivers? Therefore, in those obvious running plays, they brought him out. I mean, I'm just guessing.
It's possible. I think there's a couple factors at play. The Jets have been really, really weird, like we talked about, with how they run their wide receivers out. I personally thought Denzel Mims was a very solid player last year.
He looked good, but they hate him.
I think he has starter potential. And so we just kind of assumed they hated him this year. But then they started declining trades for him at the deadline, which tells me, okay, maybe there's something there that they're clinging to. And maybe there's something that they saw last week that caused them to say, okay, no, we want this guy to stick around. So seeing the snap count, whether he's out there in a run block or not, he's out there. And so that's really, really intriguing to me. And again, I wrote in my notes, he is a guy in tournaments and MME that I'm going to take a lot of shots on. He's absolutely a candidate to get a 0, but I'm really, really intrigued by Mims tonight.
I love your thoughts on the subject. And I got to tell you, as a Jets fan, as somebody who's been watching the team, what I can tell you just by looking at the names here, right? Jeff Smith has some size to him, but Braxton Berrios, Elijah Moore, Keelan Cole, and Jamison Crowder are all essentially smaller slot style wide receivers.
Yeah.
The only guy who kind of replicates what Corey Davis does is Denzel Mims. And that's what I think is going on here. I think the offense is saying, hey, we need this sort of like prototypical 6'3", take the football out of the air guy, maybe a red zone threat, maybe an end zone target, and definitely a run blocker versus these little dudes, which Keelan Cole, Moore, and Berrios and Crowder all fit in the category of like, I don't have the exact specifications of each of these players, but I would say between like 5'9" and 5'10", that size, they're all smaller guys, right? None of them are probably 200 pounds would be my guess. So you've got these prototypical sort of slot receivers, and that's what's keeping Mims in the game maybe a little bit more because he fits sort of a prototype. So yeah, I like your play on that. As far as the other guys, I think it's Crowder one, and then obviously Cole got a lot of snaps and he got the targets, but I think Elijah Moore is the more explosive player, and I'd be more interested in Moore than Cole. And of course Berrios and Smith, like turds. There's a lot of turds everywhere.
There are. Yeah, the one thing I'll say about Keelan Cole is Mike White definitely had a connection with him toward the end zone. I don't know if you saw the end of that game, but Cole had a really, really nice catch that was overturned at the end of the game.
Yeah,
that would have been a
great
touchdown.
I mean, it was not even just a nice catch. It was like one of the greatest catches I've ever seen.
Yeah, yeah.
I think
so.
Yeah.
Like you said, there's some ability there for sure.
No question. He's a good player. He's just buried. It's just unfortunate if you're a slot wide receiver and the team has Braxton Berrios, Elijah Moore, and Jamison Crowder also. It's just like he was just a weird signing because he didn't fit the team. I think Moore is a fine player. So at tight end, you've got Tyler Croft, the end zone raider, and Ryan Griffin, who got me into the King of the Beach 2 years ago. Love you, Ryan Griffin. Should get a jersey. Right? So I don't know how you distinguish them with these two guys. 4%, 2%, very similar. I think you just got to mix them as 5% turds as well.
Yeah. I mean, Croft caught a touchdown last week, but it was his first of the season. We talk about it all the time. These backup QBs like their tight ends. So anytime it's a coin flip, I tend to lean to the cheaper option, and that's Griffin. But I think it's worth getting a little bit of exposure to both of them tonight.
Like I said, I have a lot of love for Ryan Griffin. A lot of love. Helped me into the King of the Beach 2019, last one they had. So I got a lot of appreciation for that. All right, before we go to the cheat sheets, reminder: if you're watching this and you're not currently a DFS Army subscriber, that you can get subscribed to DFS Army right now using promo code YouTube special, YOUTube, the whole word. You go the whole word, and you get signed up for 10% off VIP. You're going to love it. As you'll see this cheat sheet behind me, you'll note that more heads are popping up in the windows. There's DFSupNORTH joining us. And this is what we do, these kind of cheat sheets for every sport. That's just the beginning. That's just the beginning. So if you're not signed up to DFS Army, that's okay too. We do a lot of free videos like this. Like and subscribe to the channel. Smash the notifications button so you know when we go live. And you'll get a couple of Showdown breakdowns. A lot of our stuff is behind the YouTube. YOUTUB. Like you got to spell out the whole word for the promo code. YOU. YouTube. Most people just, I don't know what they write.
Geek, can we go back real quick to this Javad comment? Put thoughts in my head.
Oh, yeah.
I just want to say this real quick because I think some people misinterpret when I make calls and say crazy things. And I think I speak for all of us. Like, our goal is not necessarily to give you the perfect picks. We don't want you to just pick exactly everything we write out. Our goal is to like throw things out there to allow you to process and fit those things into your own strategy and your own process. And so I love that. I'm so glad that there's different thoughts that get put in your head, because that is the purpose behind the notes, and that's the purpose behind these videos. So thank you for saying that. That's awesome.
100%. And you want to put your stamp on every single approach, because when you put a lineup in, that's your money, your lineup. And when you win, that's your win. That's not our win.
Yes,
that's not Bobbywow's win. That's not Josh DFSupNORTH.
Yeah.
Win. That is your win.
For sure.
You know, it's funny.
You built that lineup. Like we helped maybe talk you through the process, but like that's you. And that's what I like. That's what I think my favorite part of DFS Army is that it's not just us giving you guys picks. It's everybody working together and getting better.
Everybody wants a swag bag. You know what, Matthew? Instead of, I mean, what I've got to do, and I've forgotten to do it this year, is we're just going to run some more DFS Army exclusive swag bag contests, let you win it against 200 DFS Army members or 300. You know, we got to do some more swag bag, and we will. It's been just busy, and I forgot to do a bunch of that, but we will. So let's get into the sheets themselves, and DFSupNORTH is with us, so I'd love to hear some of your opinions here as we go through this, but we're taking a look at the DraftKings sheet. And, you know, I think I'm in agreement here. Bobbywow's got Jonathan Taylor, top pretty much overall captain play. No one really comes close. I think Michael Carter's floating in there. I mean, Josh, what are your thoughts here on Michael Carter? Is he a potential captain? Can he do it again? You called it last week.
I think so, right? Like, I mean, the usage in the passing game is so impressive, right? Like, I love Carter again here. I don't think that the Colts did a nice job stopping Derrick Henry last week before he got hurt. But, I mean, it's just all checkdowns. And Carter's good in space. Like, he's been really impressive in that, you know, breaking tackles. And it's what we want Javonte Williams to be with that sort of usage. You know what I mean? Like, but, yeah, I like him in the captain for sure.
I watched Cody Carpenter. Actually, I did a show in the offseason with Cody Carpenter.
Oh, sure.
Who is from Player Profiler. And he's really big into scouting college talent, right? And he had scouted Michael Carter and said, this kid is like a better version of Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Yes,
like
I saw that.
Yeah, a better version of Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and gave the metrics to prove it. And it's reality. Like, he's got a little more explosiveness, this and that. The reason my issue with Michael Carter in terms of like being a workhorse is he's a little guy. He's smaller than Helaire, and he's just kind of a little too small to be like a workhorse running back. He's 5'8"-ish, 5'9", 200 pounds. So, you know,
he's Jerick McKinnon, right? Like
Kevin.
He's Kevin Allen. Yeah.
He's Kevin Allen, aka the Geek.
You could play for the Jets.
I mean, he's got a couple pounds on me, but we're close.
But I mean, it doesn't even feel like when you watch the games, it doesn't even feel like gadgety when he's out there, though. You know what I mean? I think that sometimes these guys get these pass catching running backs. It feels like, oh, they got to be in certain situations. But I mean, they were just feeding him the ball everywhere.
Yeah, and I think that's what we have to keep in mind. Like, you play the volume. Like, we can all guess about what the outcome's going to be, but it's a showdown slate. So anytime there's a question, I lean toward volume, and I love the volume he's getting.
Love the volume. So, all right. So continuing through, I'm not a play the quarterbacks on draft. I have to say this every single showdown breakdown. You forced me to say it every time because you guys put the quarterbacks in here. And then I have to say it again. I'm not a play the quarterback in the captain spot guy. Bobbywoww, are you actually going to play Carson Wentz as your captain in any lineup?
I probably won't personally,
but do it.
But there is an argument there to play him tonight. I definitely will not be playing Mike White. I can promise you that right now as a captain, but the Jets secondary is bad. It's really not good. And we saw it with Pittman last week. Carson Wentz is going to look to throw the ball. They're not afraid to throw the ball in the red zone, not afraid to throw the ball at the goal line. So I think there are paths for Wentz to get there tonight. Not my favorite play, but there is a path.
I agree with you. I think the path is Carson will run for a touchdown every once in a while.
Sure.
Although not against a shitty defense like the Jets. Like, you don't probably need to.
Sure.
That's my concern.
It's about 15% of the time. Favorite captain.
There we go. And all these, I mean, dude, you're not giving us a lot of options here. Michael Pittman, another one. So we've got basically Jonathan Taylor, Mikey Pitter, Michael Carter. Is that it? I mean, little J. Crow?
Yeah, I don't think there's a ton of options here, and it's even smaller on FanDuel. But
the one guy I would maybe be interested in, especially if when we see Corey Davis ruled out, like I have some interest in Elijah Moore. I mean, I know he's a rookie, and you know what I mean, like, but I the volume was nice last week when Davis went out.
There it is, Elijah Moore. So I mean, just talked about him. If Elijah Moore does what he has the ability to do,
right,
if he's gonna cop up. Yeah, you got to put Crowder in the pool. But yeah, I mean, even Elijah Moore. I don't think there's any other. Interestingly, I mean, like Mo Alley Cox. Like I don't know. Like, who's the crazy one? And guys in the comments, who's the crazy one? And Don's asking, why do we sometimes see two defense? It's never one, ever. It has never won. Don't do it.
The only reason you see two defensive lineups is because you scroll to the top at the beginning of the showdown. Scroll to the top at the end of the showdown.
That's right. You only ever see them right when it starts.
I think some guys just want to take a picture of themselves in first. That might be the only reason to do it.
They send it to their wives and they're like, "Oh, I'm doing so good," and then they ask it, and they're like, "Oh, fuck."
I'll give you for real a reason.
Really work out.
Let's say you're using the Dom station or another optimizer, right? I don't know other optimizers, but let's say you're using the Dom station, and let's say you don't make the rule that we strictly tell you to make, which is if defense A is in the lineup, do not use defense B. We use that for kickers most of the time and always for defenses. So let's say you use the Dom station, but you forget to put that rule in and you put 150 lineups in it. Yeah, you might get the pairing and some lineups because you didn't make a rule to disallow it. That's how I believe it happens.
That's how Ward ended up in lineups last week for most people, right? Or was it not Ward? Gore. On Monday night, right? Like he ended up in lineups because people didn't check a minimum projection on him, and he ended up in their lineup.
Simple, by accident. But hey, he's in there. At the end of the game, you hit the wife with a bro. Yeah, after you show you show your wife, 100K. She's like,
shit, yeah, I broke even.
I broke even. And the worst part, Jonathan, is that you're lying when you say that. He's going to break even. You definitely lost. All right. Does Roto Grind? Yes, they have an optimizer.
Everybody does.
I mean, not everybody does, but anybody does. But ours is the best optimizer. That's what we think.
I agree.
Takes more tournaments down than the other one. So I like that one. You know, like I like the one that wins more often. Plus mine. All right. So not a whole lot of captain options here, guys. And we'll make a lineup here in a minute. We'll try to make sort of a cashy lineup if we can. It's hard. I tried already once and I was having some trouble. So we'll work together. But let's go down to the turd zone here. And I think I want to get your guys' opinion. Like, what are we doing with all of these turds? Are we just mixing them in like 10%, and just hoping that we land on the right pile? I mean, they're all turds. Moore, Ty Johnson, Mo Alley Cox, Colts defense I like. Jack Doyle, I mean, when does he ever go off? It's really Braxton Berrios can get a couple. This is like
Braxton scored last week.
So much. It's too much turdliness for one game.
It's a lot.
I'm drowning in it. I feel like it got turds swimming. Bobbywow, throw me a line. Pull me out of the turd sand. You know, I'm sinking.
Who do we like?
I'm really interested to hear Josh too, but I think there's two main thoughts here. One is you play Ashton Doolin and forget about it. He's min price. He's a wide receiver 3 for the Colts, unless Kiki Kuti's active tonight, which he could be. But let's say he's not. He's min price, and you don't have to play another turd. If you play Ashton Doolin, there's really no reason to play another one of these turds, in my opinion. Now, Ashton Doolin has done nothing in the same role for the last 2 weeks.
Correct.
Same in price, same role, has done nothing.
And T.Y. Hilton played how much last week?
He didn't play last week, I don't think. But the week before was when he got hurt, right?
Yes.
I think it was last week he got hurt.
Whenever he got hurt, I think it was the beginning of the game from what I remember.
But Doolin's essentially done nothing.
No, I don't think he's very good. But again, he's out there, and that's enough.
At mid-price.
He's out there.
Yeah,
at 200.
so I think that's option A. I think option B is you choose a couple other of these turds and don't play Doolin, because I don't know that two of these guys will get there, Doolin and another turd. So I think that's the decision you have to make. Am I playing Doolin or am I playing another turd? And you go from there. For me personally, Denzel Mims is my turd. I think he has a path to the optimal tonight. And if he happens to go off and Doolin doesn't, you are in a great spot.
What if Kiki Kuti plays? Does he elevate to a better play than Doolin?
I mean, Doolin's done nothing, but he's had 4 targets each of the last 2 games. Like, so he's involved. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if Kuti plays, it makes it even harder to play one of these guys. But
wasn't Kuti active one of these games?
2 weeks ago.
Week 7 he played.
Yes.
Reverted to the practice squad. We're gonna have to see, because I mean I have a separate reason. I like playing Kiki in lineups because I enjoy the Drake song, and then
I was gonna say you just want to play it on the next time we have one of these.
Yeah,
and that's
it's like
the only reason we're putting him into lineups. Like, we need to make that clear for people.
It's so much more about playing the Drake song than it is about him being a good play. I just want to like, Kiki, do you like me? But
I tell you what, I'm gonna play a decent. I mean, so here's the deal. I usually build, like, when I start building, I'll build like 3. Like a 3 entry max for a 1,000 entry tournament or a smaller tournament, you know what I mean? And they're a little bit more chalky. And I'll say I have Doolin in 2 and Mims in 1 right now. That's kind of where I'm at on it. And then as I go and if I'm, as I spread that out to 20 and 150 and things like that, then I'll start to, mix in a bunch of these other morons, for lack of a better term.
Bobbywow, I've looked at a lot of your cheat sheets over the years, bro, and I've never seen
that's a lot of one-stars
and one-star plays.
I'm going through. I'm like, what am I doing? What am I doing wrong? What am I missing? But there's so many turd-like plays. It's unbelievable.
It's really too much. It's overload.
Is Geek? Are you playing tonight? Is Blankenship in, or is no? He's on the IR. He's on the IR.
No, my boy Rodrigo didn't make it. All right, so
doppelganger.
But the Money Badger is in, and I love his nickname
right.
too. Rodrigo right. Or Money Badger. They do have awesome kickers. Like, what is it about the Colts that they always have awesome kickers? Like, all of them. So, all right, let's try to make a lineup. So if I want to make a lineup, and I say, all right, Jonathan Taylor's the best player on the slate. Let's just play him. Okay. A little spendy at the captain, but I don't care because he's the best play. Right? Last week if you didn't play Tyreek Hill on the last slate, you didn't make any money.
0.
You had to have Tyreek. So let's play the best play at the Jets can't stop the run. Now we all kind of like Michael Carter, Mikey C. Kind of.
If this is a cashier lineup, I'm playing Doolin over Mims. I love Mims for tournaments, but I'm playing Doolin in cash.
Doolin for the extra money. Okay. All right. Let's just put the $200 guy who's going to get us a 0 in there. That's fine. Maybe if a miracle happens, he'll get us 3.1. 2 receptions.
Very possible.
Might get you there.
Yeah. We'll take the 2 points out of Dolan.
Are you going to play the Colts in cash?
I think you could play Colts defense. Or, you know what? Let's take Colts defense out of it. Definitely playing Money Badger in cash. No question. I'll take the points. Right? That leaves us 9,700. Okay, we've got Wentz, Mikey Pitter, White, Crowder. We can only do 2 of them. So you basically have to choose. You can't play. I'd like to play Wentz and Pittman, but it doesn't work without Mims.
No.
Do we have to go to Mims? So if we don't play, we could. You can't play Mike White. You could play Crowder. What's that?
Not in cash.
No. I wouldn't go to Mims in cash.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, how do we fit Wentz and another good player? Like, I want Pittman. I need White.
I think Pascal is a fine cash play.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I think the play, and it's scary, but I think the way to fit everybody, let me see if I got it right here. Yeah, I think it's Carter captain.
Yeah, I
That's
don't
super
mind
scary
that.
too, man. That's
It's
really,
super
really
scary, but you get so you can go Carter, Captain, Badgley, Doolin, Taylor, Wentz, White.
But no Pitter. White though. Oh yeah, that's not too bad. That's not too bad.
I mean, White's 400 yards are like staring me in the face, and it's telling me like, and I'm in my head, I'm going, that's not replicable. That's not replicable.
It's not.
That's not. You know what I mean? But it's hard to get over your recency bias. You know.
I mean, Carter's going to get a bunch of targets. Like he's going to play competent football.
That's why I don't mind him there.
I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. I'm going with it.
If it's 20 points, if it's, you know what I mean? Like 15, 20, you're looking, you got Taylor in there anyways. You're not looking to win. You're looking to.
You're looking to min cash, get in the money line. I think if you're trying to win this, you're going to have to choose a better turd than Dolan. I don't think Dolan is going to get us there. I think we might have to choose a better guy than that if we're trying to win this.
Is there a better guy?
I mean, it's Mims, right? Or Cole or one of those types.
Yeah, I don't mind Cole.
But you can't get there in this lineup. You're not going to be able to play this group. Yeah,
Doolin is by far the safest turd at min price. He's at min price, and he will probably play. Yeah, he'll probably get targets. Yeah.
I wouldn't bother though putting that lineup into this as
right.
You know, by the way, I did discover. You want to hear something messed up? I did discover that on the Players Club, I'll usually make some lineups each week, and I just throw them into the Millie Maker just to remember that I did it on the show. And then Statsational John Alessia, who like studies everything like a maniac, was like, dude, every lineup you made had like 7 dupes. It's fucked up. And I was like, motherfuckers watching the show.
They're just copying you.
Slapping those lineups in with me. I was like, guys, I told you not to do that. But
that's super funny.
Because he thought it was bizarre. He's like, why? You did like, it's like lineups never get duped, but yours are always duped. And I was like, oh, oops. Gotta stop doing that. Anyway, so, I mean, kind of a cashy lineup, but the fact that I got to go like this and really think nothing feels good in this game. Nothing. I want to be more loaded on the Colts side though than the Jets side, no matter what.
I don't play Mike White in cash. I'm just saying it right now. He doesn't make my
cash lineup. I think that's fair.
Yeah, I get that too.
I mean, Wentz is a better play in cash.
I think you can play Mike White in cash because he's a quarterback and he's going to score.
Sure,
he's going to score no matter what you say. He's going to score.
The floor is like 12 points, right? Like 10 points.
Probably 8 to 10. I mean, I loaded up on Cooper Rush last week. I don't know if that's the same. I had a ton of
Cooper Rush has better weapons.
If it didn't already, safe turds. We need to start a Twitter account for that.
I guess there's no such thing as a safe turd, but he's the safest of the turds.
Sure.
All right, let's take a look at FanDuel, guys. On FanDuel, I think the pathway is a little more obvious. Again, Taylor or Wentz, the absolute top plays, and I think you can mix not Pittman so much, but you can mix in Mike White a little bit. Sometimes that surprising shitty quarterback does come through in tournaments. So you can mix in a little Mike White as your MVP. I guess Carter. So it'd be Taylor, Wentz.
Yeah, they're on there.
White and Carter. Yeah, for sure. Oh, there you are. Okay. And that's it. So a nice small group. And I agree with your starring of them, Bobbywow.
Yep.
The 2 on Mike White. Yeah. I mean, I'd probably go maybe even only 3 on Carter. I think like Wentz and Taylor are significantly better plays. But Carter looks like he's going to be low on. You know what else? I mean, look at the ownership. 10% for Mike White.
Oh, on FanDuel?
9% MVP for Carter.
Seems low.
Yeah, we always say this, right? Anytime you get a QB or running back on FanDuel under 10%,
we got to jam it.
Worth a look. Yep.
You have to. Right? Wentz 30%. Jonathan Taylor only 20%. Give me more.
Give me more.
I'm going above the field. Let me get DraftKings, FanDuel. Where are you?
There you go. This is how you work your own site.
Got to learn how to use the tools. Of course, I made it larger and it's messing me up. Hold on. I can't work like this. Okay. So MVP spot. if Taylor's only going to be 18%, man, I'm like 30% minimum. You know what I mean? Michael Carter 8%. Let's double it. Go 20. QB Carson Wentz. We can match the field there 30%. And then again, if Mike White's going to be low owned, I'll go a little bit above that. Something like that. So you want to get a little leverage. And then I think the default will be Carson Wentz anyway. So
rip it.
I'm going to run a quick rip here as we look. So I agree with those. And quick rules, I would say, Jonathan Taylor, no rules. Here we go. I'm getting direct. See, we got to tell him Mims. He's not watching live. It's a problem. Jonathan Taylor, no rules for me. Carson Wentz, you got to have probably at least one pass catcher, maybe two.
Yep.
Talking like even Mo Alley Cox, even Doyle, Pittman, Pascal, I think two. Naeem Hines in the mix. Who else would you mix in with the pass catchers? Doolin? No. I'm not counting him.
I don't even mind Taylor.
Taylor. Okay. All right. At that point, it's definitely in at least two.
If it's Taylor, it's him and someone else. Yep. But I don't mind
definitely in at least two. So with Carson Wentz does run for a touchdown on occasion, like I said, but it is what it is. Probably still at least two. For Mike White, that's the grossest at least two you're ever going to pull off. Any Mike White lineup with two Jets receiver, actually got to include Michael Carter in the mix. So it's actually going to be like you'll end up with Mike White with Carter and then Crowder, or Carter and then Mims, or Carter and then somebody like that. So actually, I would do the same rule for Mike White. If he's going to be my MVP, I want him with two, but we're including Carter, and I'll include Ty Johnson in that mix because he catches passes also. Any flex plays, Bobbywow, that you kind of particularly like? Like, we're not playing Doolin on FanDuel. We need touchdown scorers. So Doolin, no. All of this garbage, no. Any flex plays down here that kind of stood out? Maybe Mims. I think it's Mims. He's a touchdown scorer.
Yeah, I think it could be Mims. It's tough on FanDuel because, like you said, we need a touchdown score, and the prices, you don't get that much of a break on these turds. So, yeah, I don't mind Mims. I don't mind one of the tight ends. But yeah, it's going to have to be one of those guys.
Josh, any thoughts on the turd zone down here?
So I was just looking at. I think,
Doolin's not a touchdown scorer. Fuck that guy. He's our DraftKings play. We're hoping for three receptions.
Barrios. Mo Alley Cox is cheap. He gets enough work.
It's got to be Cox. It's got to be Cox.
The argument for Doolin is he's min price, so maybe he lets you fit in an extra stud if you play him, and even a 4 or 5 would get him there. I know it's unlikely, but that's the argument for him.
That's what I loved.
Like a small,
I mean, that's what we loved about Rudolph the other day. He was 5K, so the lineup
that worked out well.
Looked really different with him in it than not, and we were like, if this guy scores at 5K, you're going to have a really unique rest of your lineup because no one else got a 5K guy in there. I mean, Elijah Moore also, I'll put him in the mix.
Yeah.
These guys aren't turds already. We've gotten past the turd zone, right? So it's really gross. I got to be honest, guy. I don't think I'm going to max this one.
It's tough.
Like I max almost every one of these, and the way this, I think I'm going to handcraft a couple. This was my first attempt at making the lineup earlier, and the problem is I can't get Wentz in there.
It's really tough to do both.
Or we got to give up Pittman for White, and I kind of like White more than Pittman, so it kind of looks something like this. And then the last spot is so horrible. Like when you do this, you can't get a good player in for the last. Like there's nothing here. Like I don't think you could play it. I don't think you can use Taylor, Wentz, White. You kind of have to choose, and then if I don't use White, I could probably just use a bunch of kickers.
Sure. I don't hate that.
You could. I think the problem with Badgley is that he just doesn't get many opportunities.
Right.
He's had one field goal a game for the last 3 weeks.
He's been bad.
He's been accurate, but he doesn't. Yeah, DFS purposes. Yeah.
I mean, you already got a 0 here in Mims. Michael Carter 13. I mean, it's very all right. So let's say I do that. Maybe you have to leave Wentz off your team. I think that's the guy that has to be
Might be the trick.
Yeah,
I don't hate it with Taylor MVP.
No,
What's
yeah,
that?
either do I.
I don't hate leaving Wentz off, especially if Taylor's MVP.
Yep, I agree.
Then Mims, if you get Carter in there, he's 10-5. There's nothing here at 10-5. So now we need a kicker. And I mean, the issue, I get that Badgley hasn't scored much, but the issue for me is just like I can't use the Jets guy.
If it's me, I'm taking Mims out. I'm going Pascal and Moore. That's my lineup.
Pascal and who?
Moore.
I like that.
And Elijah.
You maybe get a Pascal touchdown, and it's the only one that Wentz throws. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I like that.
None of this feels very cashy to me.
Oh no,
I don't like any of this.
FanDuel's tough today.
I don't know that there is a cash lineup on FanDuel.
Is it possible just let's not play fucking cash games? Let's just not do that.
Yeah,
I mean, other people are going to have Hunter's Dolph call. A lot of people like Dolph. Hunter. Hell yeah.
Josh had him in
Josh
there
definitely had him in the notes too. Yeah, I mean Mo Alley Cox. But Mo Alley, these guys are zeros. Like when we put together a cash lineup, you really want to look at floor and say, hey, how can I elevate the floor of this lineup with targets or red zone opportunities? And usually that means getting both quarterbacks in. I can't play a cash lineup with no quarterbacks. It's absolute madness. It's absolute madness. Can't do that. Or we're playing this one crappy quarterback who can revert to 6th-round draft pick Garbaggio. Although
I think that's the cash lineup, Bobby. I just built it. I think that's
serious.
The cash lineup.
Which one? The one I have on screen?
Yeah.
The one I mean,
which it feels so gross.
There's a lot of zero potential.
That should be a lesson. Don't play cash tonight. Because that is the best one, I think.
And this is one of the grossest lineups I've ever seen. Moore could get you 0, and so could Pascal. 0. Not like a 2.
Oh,
like
yeah,
a 0.
Sure.
There's 0 potential here. I don't like it. Man.
It's gross.
Yeah, sorry, guys. This is one of those slates where it's just really horrible to try to pick from. The Jets team just is not tight enough. And the Colts team is so overpriced or so expensive that it's really hard to bring numbers together that work. Although, in fairness, the field has the same set of circumstances that they're dealing with. So, I'd like to see how things go tonight, but
can you believe that Josh Johnson's still in the league?
No, I'm actually quite a bit.
I just saw that.
He spent some time in the XFL, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, multiple leagues. He played for the Sacramento Mountain Lions, the Los Angeles Wildcats, San Diego Fleet.
Lord have mercy.
He's got Taylor, Carter, Pittman, no Mike White. I think you got to play.
I think you got to have a quarterback.
I think you got to play White over
it's
Pittman.
Tough, man.
Yeah, I think I like Crowder and Mims. I definitely like Crowder better than Moore, and that pairing. I don't mind Crowder.
I think we should also be clear. Like Mims is a gut. It's a gut feel.
Very likely 0.
There's not a ton of data to back up Mims, so don't go too nuts. I will be overweight.
Honestly, I got to tell you, I think I like this one better than the first one.
I like it too. I like
Brian's version better than the other one.
Call, Brian.
I think I like it.
Yeah, because I think Crowder is so much better than Moore.
Yeah, true.
And the other guy we had in there.
Yeah.
I think Carter. He's so much better than Moore, and that was the Colt guy, right? That we had in there before.
Pascal.
The Pascal Lamb.
What's White's price again?
13.
Yeah, I think if it's me with 2 Jets wide receivers, I'm throwing White instead of Carter, and that's my cash lineup.
Could do that too.
But is he 13?
Yeah, I like
it. No, can't make it work. Does not work. There's no money left.
Oh, GG's.
But tough. I think with Mims and Crowder in there, you get a lot of the White upside anyway.
Mims is like when you think you got to fart, but you're not quite sure. Like not safe. Like you got to maybe go to the bathroom.
There's potential for a shart here. There's a shart potential.
That's the best way to describe it.
A little shart, little something, little potential for the old strategic throwing away of the underwear in the public bathroom. Hey, what are you up to? Let me just quietly throw this in the bin.
Process. I always go no underwear. It's fine.
All right.
He stood out to me right away, Mims. That's all I'm saying.
I like it. I'm in.
Wait. Here's Flacco. Hold on. Let's ask IBM Watson, our AI system, if we should play Flacco as a backup. You know, like a quarterback that could come in and win us all the monies. And only IBM Watson, our AI system, IBM, should we play Flacco? Watson, AI.
What do you think?
Turn on to the
I agree.
Independent computer verification that no, we are not going to play backup for all the monies. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it for the showdown breakdown. Where my turds at? Colts, Jets. It's not a good one. It's not a pretty one. The bet is on the Colts tonight, guys.
Let's do it.
You lay the points. It's the Jets. It's still the Jets. Jets on the road. It's not good.
Scary.
Jets on the road. Short week. Travel. A lot of things working against the Jets tonight. But good luck, everybody. Smash that like button. Smash the subscribe. We'll be back on Monday with you don't get the Sunday night one. That's DFS Army VIP only. We got all kinds of VIP only shit coming to you for our DFS Army subscribers. All this content, a million times more than what you see on screen here, all for DFS Army subscribers. You've got DFS Up North, Bobbywow in the Discord answering questions.
Yes.
Jets only beat playoff teams.
Oh, jeez.
I got the Colts winning their division.
Colts could do fine. Let's not rip the Colts. They're all right. Listen, you know what? Derrick Henry gone.
Yeah, they're
The division. Mahomes not good anymore. Division wide open. Mahomes sucks now.
I wouldn't go that far, but he's not playing well.
There's a lot of the AFC.
Yeah, Geek had a tweet yesterday that I almost responded to that it was like easy.
No, I was trolling, right?
I hope so, because you're going to end up deleting that in a couple of weeks.
I was trolling. You guys thought that was serious?
I
That
can't wait
wasn't
to
an obvious
retweet that
troll.
in a couple of weeks.
I was waiting for the Chiefs fans to lose their shit over me saying Mahomes sucks. I keep saying it. Wait, because I know Mahomes is fucking awesome. He's the GOAT. He's like one of the greatest quarterbacks we're ever going to see play NFL football. And he has 2 bad weeks and everybody's overreacting. I'm just trolling.
I'm more concerned about Kelsey than I am.
The last thing I think is that Mahomes is bad now. What made him bad? 2 weeks passed since he was awesome? Like what was the catalyst?
Yeah.
They might beat the Packers 100-0.
He did a TikTok with his girlfriend and now he sucks?
He didn't do the TikTok with his girlfriend. That's why he sucks.
Don't. Boom.
We got to end this. Something happens here.
All right. That'll do it, guys. Showdown breakdown. We will see you next time with the GOAT team and me to break down another showdown. Deuces, good luck tonight.
See you guys.